from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
Mortgage rates are lingering right below 7% after reaching a 4-week low last Friday.
The weekly national average for 30-year mortgage rates has hit 6.3%, according to Bankrate, and the national average for 15-year mortgage rates has hit 5.73%. It follows a February drop below 6% for 30-year mortgages, which happened for the first time in more than 3 years. But starting in March, rates started to pick up. Homeowners are hoping to see lower rates stick, as predicted by Fannie Mae. The Federal Housing Finance Agency said rates are expected to hit 5.7% by the fourth quarter.
Correspondent Bernie Bennett reporting. 8 months after President Trump declared a crime emergency in the nation's capital and called up the National Guard, more than 2,500 troops remain. The National Guard deployment has grown increasingly routine with no clear end in sight. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. Former soccer player Brandon Aubrey has
If you have roof problems, you can sure see them when it rains. This is Deb Tejada from Tejas Roofing. If you see a leak, call me immediately, 281-251-0304. I'll send over the Tejas Roof Repair truck.
That truck has everything our experienced crew needs to fix your roof, right then and there.
The Tejas Roofing crew has been working together fixing leaky roofs for 15 years.
It's not a pretty truck, but it has everything we need to get the job done. I kind of like the way it looks.
Most roofing repairs cost less than $500. Why? Because we find the cause of the leak and repair that leak. We won't try to sell you services you don't need.
And we'll fix it right away because everything we need is in our truck.
Don't put off fixing a leaky roof. Call me at Tejas Roofing and I'll send over the truck. 281-251-0304. When you think of roofing repairs or a new roof, think Tejas Roofing, your Houston roofing company. 281-251-0304. That's Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304.
Thanks, Tommy.
From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor today.
Mattress back here in the Mac Z-Cliner. I'm recovering from surgery thanks in large part to this miracle chair, the Mac Z-Cliner. You can sit in it, you can recline in it, you can watch TV in it, you can eat in it, you can sleep in it. It goes to zero gravity position. The Mac Z-Cliner helped me recover. It also has heat and massage, a place to charge your cell phone. Come out to Gallery Furniture, buy a Mac Z-Cliner before your surgery. Gallery Furniture delivers tonight, or after your surgery, Gallery Furniture delivers tonight, and you'll sit and sleep great tonight.
Where should I begin?
Can we talk about this?
Say, what are you trying to say?
Beyond the usual controversial talk.
Blah, 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 on and on and on.
Over there.
One, two, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Prepare yourself.
Okay.
For Craig.
Okay.
Preparing a mighty new spectacle here.
Articulate. Stimulating. Hit you right in the... there you go.
We start becoming a team.
This is the Craig Collins Show.
Lord Jesus, oh God, no.
Start talking, talk fast.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Now your host.
He's a good man.
Craig.
That's right. It is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. Thrilled to be with you. We are all over the place on all the social media places. I don't do it on YouTube until Friday, but you can find me on Rumble and, I don't do it on Facebook. I'm on YouTube and Rumble every day. That's KSEV Radio on those pages. And then my X page at Radio Craig C is a way to find me and to find the show. We have a producer. Probably need to help you with that. Some of the close your mic again. Close your mic. And then there's maybe headphones behind you in the other room sitting over there. And you got to plug them into the board to be able to talk to me and hear me at the same time. That's a me thing. That's not a his fault. That's a my fault because I did not train him for that. But those headphones go into the board headphone spot right where you should see a spot. Yep, that one. And then you put it in on the corner to your right. And then you'll be able to hear me and we'll be able to talk back and forth. I'm thrilled that I have a producer already. I started this show in March, so now it's the middle of April, and now we have somebody who can answer the phone and somebody who I can talk to occasionally on the show, too. So if you want to call in, if you want to be part of the Craig Collins Show, that is a thing you can do now, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-KSEV, 5. End of the show to chat about and make sure, thank you, when you close that microphone. Now, the social media people are hearing me. Anybody who's watching on any of the social media channels, which I'm pretty sure is just my mom. My mother, who texts me all the time whenever any of that stuff doesn't work, because I'm a millennial, and Mom is a big audience member all the time. Yes, I know why, Mom. It's doing that, and we're going to fix it. The producer booth is causing the problem, but I like having a producer, so we'll figure that out. All right, we're going to get to some audio, a bunch of audio to play. I do think one of the more interesting things being talked about right now is gerrymandering in places like Virginia. So there's two ways to go about this conversation. The first way is to play audio from Fox. This is an interview with a Democratic Senator Kaine, who actually at one time was a candidate to be the vice president in this country. And many people, including Saturday Night Live, compared him to Tim Walz, thinking they're basically the same guy, which is interesting. I don't know if there's as much fraud going on for Senator Kaine as there was for Senator Walz. But nonetheless, or for the Governor Walz. But I do want to play this because it's an interesting shot from Fox News at the Democratic senator saying, you know, the makeup of your state when you look at the House doesn't match the political diversity of even of Virginia. And so this is an advocate for gerrymandering when it benefits Democrats. Of course, they hate it when someone like Texas starts doing some of this, changing our voting maps, making it more likely that more Republicans get voted into office. And the biggest reason I actually want to play this audio is something that's going viral from former President Obama. So Obama at one point said very pro-gerrymandering things and very anti-gerrymandering things. And I always think it's great to let the side of the aisle argue with itself. So first, let's play the Fox News, setting the table, and then we'll play the audio that's gone viral of Obama from a few years ago.
Let's talk about the last vote there in Virginia, the presidential vote. Vice President Kamala Harris won by about 5 percentage points. So this state is relatively split with a left lean, but 90% of House members from Virginia being from one party?
90% of Virginians are not Democrats. That's true.
Correct.
But about 100% of Virginians want election results to be respected. We're deeply worried that Donald Trump will try to interfere with the election results this November or in 2028 because we saw him do it before. And we have to have a Congress that will stand up to it. In 2021, all 5 Republicans in Virginia went along with Donald Trump in his effort to overturn election results.
So I'm already going to stop right there. As you notice, he didn't really answer the question. He said we have to protect ourselves from President Trump and the terrible things he's going to do. So we need to have more seats in Congress from Virginia than actually represent the electorate, the amount of people who are Republican versus the amount of people who are Democrat. Now, here's where it gets good, at least to me, because this is Barack Obama arguing with himself. The first version of a clip that's diced together with the second version is Obama in 2016 saying that we need to end the practice of drawing congressional districts so that politicians can pick their voters and, you know, pick how many representatives come from each party. He's calling for an end to gerrymandering. Then in 2026, this year, he's like, you know what? It's going to help us try to fight Trump. So let's go ahead and do it. Here's both clips together.
I think we've got to end the practice of drawing our congressional districts so that politicians can pick their voters and not the other way around.
I'll stand up and applaud 2016 Obama.
Let a bipartisan group do it.
By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterms. And
give
we're
us an unfair
counting on
advantage.
Well, and of course...
All right, I'll stop it right there. So that's Fox News playing that audio. So again, in 2016, he's anti-something. Then in 2026, he's pro. What's the point of this? Why did I want to play this audio or have this conversation? Because most politicians, and I'll be honest, I think this is true of both sides, are very, very wishy-washy, very hypocritical. If it's good for me now, I'm fine with it. If it's bad for me now, I hate it, and I want it to go away. It's just so interesting to see it play out again and again and again, and to see unapologetic versions of, I'm going to pretend I didn't say this thing 10 years ago, and the internet's undefeated. The internet is capable of always finding those clips, pulling up those moments that show that the opposite was true just a short time ago. And honestly, the biggest reason why, to contextualize it even more, in 2016, Trump had just won the presidency, and Obama did not want to see certain states gerrymander or redistrict how the votes went so that Trump could get more seats in the House, so he could have more control at that time. So it was against the Democratic position to allow for Trump to get more Republicans in our House of Representatives. Now it's the opposite. Now they want to see as many Republican seats lost as possible, and they don't care what way that's done. Another piece of audio I want to play, another thing I thought was really interesting. This is Pete Buttigieg, or Buttigieg, as he's often called. There's a caller calling in on line 3, if we want to grab that real quick. Thank you, buddy. A voter was asking a question to Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete had an interesting answer to it. This is basically the Democratic fear-mongering stuff that you see all the time, where Democrats say this thing's going to happen. They're going to round us up. They're going to throw us in the hoosegow, whoever they are, whatever they look like. And, of course, it's not true, but you play into these fears if you're a Democratic politician and you think this motivates your side to vote. You completely disrupt and rip apart these ideas if you think it's somehow attacking your side. But here we go.
Thank you. Hi. Every day I wake up scared because a person I love is trans. And I'm waiting for the day that they start banging on doors and taking our trans and our gay friends and family to concentration camps. And they can't get, our trans friends and family can't get a passport to safely flee this country. And I know that there's nothing you can do about that. But if you could, what would it be?
All right, so here, I'll answer the question as not a Democrat, by the way. That's not going to happen. There's no one banging on doors. There's no benefit to the things she said politically in any scenario at all. It's insane to think that Trump or anyone else would see some sort of benefit in rounding up, as she said, trans and gay friends or whoever it is that she loves in her family that is described as one of those things. There's no benefit to putting these people in a concentration camp and a jail. Like, it logically makes no sense. It's not just that it morally makes no sense. It's repugnant. It's terrible. It's horrible to say out loud, and no one is doing it. It also, there's no basis in reality to where this would benefit either political side of our country to do something like this. It's just an insane thing to say. And Buttigieg, who is, of course, gay himself, will answer the question by saying, I don't know what can be done and all that crap. I don't even feel like playing it. I'll play a little bit of it because this is feeding a fear. This is fear-mongering in a way that's just disgusting. It's just gross that politicians do this because the logical answer to this is, ma'am, there's no reason on earth to think this would ever happen.
Well...
I also love the weird applause from the audience because, like, yeah, fight the thing that we are trying to say the other side does that's not at all a thing that's in reality whatsoever.
First of all, it's horrible that you have to even think about that kind of fear for somebody you care about.
See, all right, I'm already done. I already don't care because you don't have to. There's no scenario, no conversation. There hasn't been a single question lobbed by a ridiculous, news person to President Trump, to the White House press secretary, anyone, where they say, when are you rounding up the gay people? When are you putting them in the concentration camps? Because anyone on the Republican side who was thrown that question would say, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. That's insane. Why would you even consider that a thing that would ever happen? They would reject it resoundingly, and the Democrats would hate to hear that, so they don't ask them that question. Let's go to the call. Caller, what's your name?
Hey, brother.
Hey,
Professor.
Jimmy X, call him back in. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, man. I figured I'd be the first call for producer Phil.
Sure.
So,
cool.
Got a chance to chat with him here. First of all, and before I make my point here, what you just heard was kind of scary.
Yeah.
That you can literally convince people of something that is absolutely not true.
Right.
But if you say it enough, they'll believe it.
Yes.
And the fear that the left has infiltrated in the minds of America is absolutely scary. Okay?
Amen.
I mean, to the point where they've got folks wearing T-shirts and signs that says gays for Palestine.
Right.
Guys, they will kill you.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
They've done it before.
Yes.
They'll do it again.
Yes. Gays
But
for
for your
Hamas.
vote-
Gays for Hamas is one of the
Gays for-
craziest things you've ever seen in your life because they absolutely would kill someone who was living their life as
Yes.
like an out gay person. Continue.
Yes. So that was absolutely a fearful clip you just played. But
Yep.
second point, and then I'll let another caller come in. But let's not forget what happened after the 2020 census was discovered to be, oops, we made a couple of errors. Oops, we overcounted California, Illinois, and New York.
Right.
Oops,
Weird.
we undercounted Florida and Texas and Georgia and North Carolina. Oops, We should have had 9 additional seats.
Yes.
But you made a oops.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops. I love that you keep calling it an oops, man. For anyone that doesn't know what Jimmy X is talking about, they absolutely purposefully miscounted the census. They actually counted a lot of people who are here illegally, pretending that they're actual voting citizens. And because of that, they gave more House seats to places like California and Illinois. It's part of the game plan. It's part of the obvious thing, but they have since admitted it. In 2020, they've said that they got the census wrong. They have no intention of changing it if the Democrats are in power in 2030. But nonetheless, there's a whole bunch of seats that shouldn't exist in heavily Democratic places.
Because the plan, Craig, is to not make it relevant after the 2030 census because of single-party rule.
Sure.
And that's the goal that they have. And I just mentioned that on the Chris X show.
Yes.
It is all about single-party rule and a communistic America.
Yes.
And that's the Democratic Party, okay? Judge Andel on Friday is a proud member of the Communist Party. He just is.
I know he is.
Okay? Whether he wants to admit it or not,
He does
that's
not.
his party.
Yeah. Yeah, he would not admit that. I do know him well enough now to know he would not. But I agree with you that he's part of that party.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he'll probably tell you, my party. Your party's led by guys like James Talarico
Yeah.
and Elon Omar and Rashida Tlaib.
And Zoran
Those
Mamdani.
are Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Zoran Mamdani. Those are little Marxist Democrats.
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's your party.
I know,
Okay?
it's crazy.
So, anyway. All right, brother. Well, have a great afternoon.
Thank you, buddy.
Craig, that's the Craig X Show. There we go.
No, I'm not an X, man. I'm not a Gen X at all. But thank you so much for the call, dude. All right, that's Jimmy X. He's gone. He's out of here. I would not go with an X for me just because I am not, in fact, a Gen X. And I think that's where Chris X's X comes from, just the Craig Collins Show. Because sadly, I know for some of you guys listening out there, I am, in fact, a millennial. I am not, in fact, a Gen X or anything cooler. I see those generations as cooler than mine. I'll admit that. I'm just not of them, and I don't want to pretend. But I'll take a break. We got a lot coming up to do on the show. I do want to play a Tucker Carlson clip. I know that Tucker Carlson is persona non grata for some now, and I certainly think that some of the crazy stuff, the anti-Trump stuff he said, it's has to be losing him some of his core audience he used to have. But he went on a tirade about something that Ben Shapiro said. So it's a little meta. It's Tucker talking about Ben's show, but I do think it's interesting enough to talk about, and a position that Ben took on an issue that Tucker wanted to refute and fight wholeheartedly, that if you actually digest and think about, I'm far more likely to agree with Shapiro than I am with Tucker on this, but I'll play it and we'll get to it in just a bit. It's the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the Voice of Texas. More coming up in just a bit.
Dan Patrick for my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts.
Spring is here and summer just around the corner, which means it's time to deep root fertilize your trees in addition to spraying for insects and disease. Let Ability Trees help maintain their value and repair all damage. Fed and prune tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace should be done by experts. And the experts I use, it's very clear. It's Ability Tree Experts and Louis Flory.
My friend for over 40 years.
Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees. And pruning limits resistance to spring storms and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs. So don't wait. Ability Trees, Houston's leading tree care professional.
You know, where we go in life matters, and what we do matters, and we know that taking the wrong road won't produce the best outcomes. Hi, I'm Kathy with Baker Mortgage, and we want you to take the right path when it comes to your mortgage. You know, we live in a world of information overload, but always consider the source, and these are not generally going to be from your big bank or a random offer that comes across your screen. Remember, you're always going to get a better deal on one that you go looking for than one that comes looking for you. You need to deal with somebody who gives a you-know-what, whether or not you're happy in the end. At Baker Mortgage, we do it right. We haven't been around for 68 years because we're lucky. We don't sell CDs, insurance, or anything else. We just provide a great mortgage experience. Isn't that what you're looking for? Call us at Baker Mortgage. I promise you'll be glad you did. We're at 281-313-MOVE or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate. Our country's founding fathers drafted a document that is the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. My friends at O'Hara & Company Real Estate, we believe we're at a precipice in time where we must take back our country. We must stand up for our freedoms or lose them forever. Please don't sit idle and let it slip away. Don't let anyone force you to do something you choose not to. As JFK said, if not us, who? If not now, when? If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393, 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. I'm Kevin O'Hara. God bless America, and God bless Texas.
This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. Producer Phil, I want to make sure that this all works correctly now, and I'm going to see it on social media, so I'm making you my guinea pig, bro. But Producer Phil, go ahead and talk into the mic now.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Doing?
Great. And now you work on all the places. We didn't want, Facebook and everything not to hear you, man.
I already know. I already know. I'm glad they can hear this beautiful voice, though.
Dude, you got to do voiceover, right? You do some voiceover work with that?
Yeah, from time to time.
Okay, yeah. You ever do like a scary movie trailer?
I have not.
Okay.
I want to, though.
You should, man.
I
feel like with that deeper voice, you should be like, in a world where these guys are killing these guys.
Like in a land far away.
Yeah, at a time that man forgot. We need that stuff from you, dude.
Hey, man,
Awesome.
I'm up for it.
Awesome. All right, I'll get back to you in a little bit. Thank you. Producer Phil is here. He's answering the phones. So anybody who wants to call in, there is now a human being that does it, so I don't have to blindly click buttons on the side. 281-558-KSEV is the phone number, 281-558-KSEV or 5738 to call in and be a part of the show. Before I took a break, I mentioned something that I thought was really interesting. It is Tucker Carlson complaining about Ben Shapiro. That in and of itself is not interesting. But what they're complaining about in the conversation, to me, has a lot more value. So let's go ahead and hit play on this audio. This is Tucker saying why he was irate. It's something he heard on Shapiro's show. They have been fighting each other for a bit. Ben Shapiro has been persona non grata with some conservatives because of his overwhelming support of Israel and people feeling that it's sort of blind support of Israel. And I will say this about that idea before I hit play on this. There's a difference between supporting politicians, no matter where they come from, no matter who they are, if it's Benjamin Netanyahu or Trump, and then sounding like you're kind of anti-Semitic and you hate people who are Israeli descent or people who are, Israeli. That is different to me. Complain about the politician all you want. Netanyahu is not popular at all in Israel, but there's tones that seem different from other ones. You know it when you hear it. I know it when I hear it. And Shapiro sometimes thinks he hears it when Tucker Carlson is talking. I'm not sure that I agree with that. I don't know that I've heard truly anti-Semitic things from Tucker himself. I think that he's more politically judgmental of the politicians who are in charge of Israel than he is willing to play into some conspiracy theories I don't necessarily agree in, but let's go ahead and play on this.
Well, I was watching Ben Shapiro the other day, and he said, if you can't find a job in the town you're from, where your parents are buried, where you spent your whole life, that's on you.
Yeah, move out.
Yeah, move out. Go somewhere else. Become a migrant. Like, who do you think you are? You think you deserve to live in the town you grew up in just because your parents are buried there and your grandparents built it? You think you have some right to that? Don't you understand the rules of capital, of the globalized economy? Like, who? Honestly, the gall.
The entitlement.
The gall.
You know what's funny about this? So Tucker goes on to say that that's horrible, that essentially Ben Shapiro should not be telling someone that if you live in a certain town, no matter how big it is, if it's as big as Houston or as small as, the far-reaching suburbs or parts of this state that have a few hundred people in them, that if you can't find a job where you live, that you should move and go get a job somewhere else. And Tucker is irate about that. He thinks that that's anti-American. However, and this is my own take on it, and this is where I agree with Shapiro, if I keep doing the same thing over and over again and I'm not succeeding, I should change something. And I'm a person who can speak to that because I've lived in a bunch of different places now. I was born in New Jersey. I probably would still like to be in New Jersey, except the politics there are terrible, and the politics a lot of places are terrible. I lived in Chicago for a long time. Politics also awful there. Now I've moved to Texas. I like the opportunities that I find in the new places I go to. I like working at this radio station compared to some of the crazier stations I worked at in the past. And you can't find those opportunities if you don't get up and go places. And to be honest, and I'll say this, and I'm not judging anybody who chooses to live their whole life in the same town, run the shop that maybe their parents opened or their grandparents opened. That sounds uniquely awesome. That sounds like a uniquely valuable life to live, no matter how successful the company is, second, third generation. And most studies actually say that second and third generation do not do as well as the generation that creates an organization. But nonetheless, like there's no judgment there. But sometimes to round yourself better, it's not terrible to get experience other places. It's one of the things I love most about talking to veterans, actually. And we do Veteran Voices every Friday on this radio show. It's starting to gain more traction, it seems. More people are interacting and suggesting different guests for me. So thank you to the people who've been reaching out. I definitely want to put a whole bunch of those vets on the show. Honor Flight is this Saturday, the Welcome Home. So we might be talking about that. But a lot of veterans get a chance to travel the world, especially if they wind up getting deployed somewhere. And while there's a lot of negatives that come with being asked to defend our country, the way that veterans are asked to do it uniquely, one of the things that seems to be an overwhelming positive is that experience being other places, that awareness of how great America is because you lived for some amount of time somewhere that wasn't here. And I do think that that's missing in the idea from a Tucker Carlson and how you talk about how people go about, say, getting those jobs, getting that professional career off the ground if you're struggling at the beginning. And I'll say one other thing about this because I think it's kind of interesting. A lot of young people today are reachable based on some conversation about your financial future. It's harder to, say, get an opportunity to begin with in our society than it used to be. At least that's what they say. So you hear young conservatives, Charlie Kirk would talk about this all the time, and young people would really embrace this version of rhetoric or discussion of saying, I don't have the opportunities I want to buy a home, to do this, to do that. Where are they supposed to come from? And the Democrats will win over these voters by saying that the government is supposed to hand these things out to you, which is inherently unfair and uniquely corrupt and terrible and horrible. There's a lot of reasons that system goes wrong. Go ahead and check the history books for any communist country that tried it out. It doesn't go well. But some conservatives, and I think Ben Shapiro is among them, are saying go attack the world. Go find the place where you can get that first opportunity, wherever it might be. And it might not be in your hometown. It might not be in the place where you were born and raised because for whatever reason, those doors might be closed. But finding another place with an open door might lead you back to wherever you want to go. It's essentially how a lot of us live in today's society. And if you want to buy that house in your 30s instead of in your 50s, you have to go where the opportunities are. I don't think that's a bad message. I think that's a very practical, a very honest message to society. And I think it's something that reaches younger people. I got a caller that I put on hold. Caller, what's your name?
Bart.
Bart, and you're calling from Spring. What do you want to say, bud?
Correct. I am just laughing that Tucker thinks that moving to go where opportunities are, that's what founded America. The whole idea was people came here, immigrants from other countries, looking for better opportunities.
Yes.
What is Tucker's problem?
I don't know. I think Tucker is trying to lean into, and I get the like conservative logic of it that he's trying to go by. Like, America is a land of opportunity. You should be able to be given an opportunity in the place where your family's been, where your grandparents are buried, your parents are, all of that stuff. It's just not. It's not the current reality we live in. So it sounds nice idealistically. It doesn't sound rationally accurate.
Well, it sounds almost socialistic when you start saying you should be given the right.
Right.
Who says you get the right?
Well, that's
what right do you have to stay and work there?
That's you're right. It's controlling outcome. It's controlling not just the ability for you to learn a skill, but you actually want to control the ability for you to get the job wherever it is you think you're entitled to it. So you're right. It is leaning more into socialist practices. You can control your skill set. You can't control who opens what doors for you. It's just the way the world works.
And this is a land of opportunity. If you don't have opportunity where you live, move. Ben Shapiro was exactly right.
Go somewhere else. Anything else you want to say, Bart?
No.
Okay. All right, buddy. Well, thank you for calling in. Thrilled to talk to you. All right, and he's gone already. Bart is out of here. I agree with him wholeheartedly. And I'll say this from a place as a person who's now 40, that for 20 years of my life has gone where opportunities are in a uniquely competitive field. Radio is not exactly a field that's easy to get in on the ground floor or to get in any doors at all. You go where you find openings. And if you don't do that, then you have to work your way up. If I could have been in a certain position in some other city or other part of the country, I happen to not get the same role as quickly in a place like Houston, because you've got to work your way from the bottom back up. Even if you fill in on fancy shows like Dana Lash or any of those other things, it doesn't matter, man. You got to earn your stripes. All right, we'll take another break. We'll come back and we'll do our quick four-ish segment and then maybe play a little bit more serious stuff. Quick four, as you know, I've stolen directly from Dana Lash. It is silly topics. It is more lighthearted things. It's a palate cleanser from the seriousness of all the news. But a quick break and a lot coming up. This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Hi, I'm Tommy Mello with Garage Door Doctors. My mom recently moved into a new home with a builder-grade garage door. Noisy, flimsy, and not built to last, so we're fixing that. Mom, you're my hero. When I was growing up, she worked 3 jobs just to save our house.
And helped you build this company.
Now I'm giving her a beautiful new garage door that's built to last. The garage is 40% of your home's curb appeal. When it looks good and it works great.
Life is good. Thanks, Tommy.
From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor today.
Hi, this is Paul Betancourt. Property values may have peaked, making 2026 a must year to protest your property taxes. Sign up with my excellent Betancourt tax advisor team at btanow.com, as our experienced senior property tax agents and customer service matter. The tax man says do it now.
Sign up with Betancourt Tax Advisors by going online to btanow.com or by calling Paul's professional property team at 713-263-6100.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. Thrilled to be with you. Producer Phil hanging out with us as well for the first day, his first day on the job. Doing a great job so far, Producer Phil. I have a bunch of sillier topics we're going to talk about. I call this the Quick Four-ish segment because Dana Lash does something called the Quick Five, and I steal from her, and I also happen to fill in for her. I'm not trying to brag. It's just the reason I think I can steal. She can let me know if I can't. A car company had patented a voice-activated feature in a car. I would play the sound for this, but it's in another language, so it's not valuable. But this is odd. We're going to let producer Phil react to it and anyone else react to it that wants to. The car company created a patent that allows you to voice-activate an in-vehicle toilet, is what it's called. So your chair that you're sitting in while driving a vehicle would somehow turn into something that you could go to the restroom in. I don't know any of the other details. I don't know if I want to know any of the other details, so that you don't have to pull over. I imagine this would only be the kind of thing you would use if you were driving in the car solo. I can't imagine this is the kind of thing you'd want to explain to somebody sitting in the passenger side of a vehicle while you're going. But producer Phil, how does a in-vehicle toilet sound to you as a car feature.
Sounds pretty disgusting.
Sounds ridiculous, right? Yeah. It's just a patent. And then I think they have a video out there where they're showing the feature. But again, this is the kind of thing where human beings think too much and they create something that we don't actually need. I think it might be a Chinese company that created it, and they think it's cool, but in reality, it's never going to be something that anyone wants to use.
Yeah, the smell is going to be crazy.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, hold on. It says there's an exhaust fan for that. It takes care of the odors.
I don't know,
yeah,
man.
I don't think
not
so.
Not the best idea, but not
right.
the dumbest idea either.
It's
I get
close,
where they
though.
was going.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Nah.
Well, and also what's funny about that is anybody who's taken a long car trip with family members, like my wife likes to go to the bathroom, man. It happens. We're going to drive for more than an hour. We're going to make a couple pit stops. It's just going to be a thing. And if you're the guy driving, you kind of want to tell the person who has to pull over, like, can you hold it a little longer?
Yeah.
I think that's a thing we say.
Yeah.
This is not a solution to that problem.
Not at all. Not even
This
close.
is not going to go better. If I told my wife that she had a voice-activated toilet in the car, she'd slap me in the face.
Of course.
Yeah, that would be the reaction. All right. That's one topic out there. We'll transition to some other things. There was a question online about Amazon delivery drones. I think that's happening more and more here. It's more in the suburbs, I think, than in the city. But more and more, you can order something by Amazon that actually gets drone delivered to your house. And apparently, they max out the drop height at 10 feet. So 10 feet off the ground, the drone can drop something. And people were asking a question like, does stuff break? I think I might even have some audio for this one.
I live in an Amazon drone delivery area, and I just recently posted this video. The number one question is, what if it's something fragile? Really fragile things won't be delivered by drone. However, I saw that I can order a tranny syrup, and it will come by drone. So the question is whether it's a glass or a plastic bottle, but here's the deal. It does drop from 10 feet in the air, so a plastic bottle also seems like that might be kind of fragile.
Yeah, you don't need the drone sound. Yeah, no, I don't think she's right about the plastic thing. But yeah, a glass bottle from 10 feet off the ground in a Amazon package is probably going to shatter when it hits your backyard.
Most definitely.
I don't think this is all fully planned out by the Amazon drone people. But nonetheless, like, I think I like the convenience of a drone delivering something for me within a few hours of ordering it compared to the chance that they might break something.
Yeah, it's pretty more convenient, but at the same time, it all depends on what you order for real.
Yeah, it does. Well, and I just think the nice thing about Amazon is you get the refund policy, right? Like, no matter what it is, if they break it, I get my money back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it don't break, you still got an item as well.
Right.
So.
If it doesn't break, I get it, and I'm thrilled that it didn't break somehow. And you can put the stuff inside the box to make it. Yeah, okay. See, maybe you could drop glass from a height that's inappropriate, and everything would go okay. Another piece of audio for you. This is also weird. These are stories that I like for this segment for some reason. A national airport, I think this is traffic control officer, heard pilots speaking oddly to each other. They weren't speaking words. They were meowing and barking at each other. I have audio of this. This also went viral. It's very strange. I don't know what kind of fight you get in with a coworker where you're piloting a plane and you no longer want to speak words. You want to meow and bark.
You guys need to be professional pilots. Meow, 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 meow. This is why you're still flying RJ. Meow, meow, meow.
This is why you're still flying crappy planes, is what they said. What do you think of guys that are meowing and barking at air traffic control?
It's kind of crazy.
It's weird.
You're dealing with people's lives, and yeah, that's pretty risky to me, to be honest with you. Hearing that in my headphones while I'm flying a plane.
I like that point, producer Phil, that like if I was a passenger on this flight and I found out that they were meowing at air traffic control, I'd be way less happy.
Yeah,
about
my seatbelt would be, my flight belt will definitely be tight and fast.
I'd be asking for that. Here, well, listen to it one more time just in case. Nope, still weird.
You guys need to be professional pilots.
Yep.
And they're just ignoring their boss. Like.
Yeah, just still strange. I don't know.
I'm frightened.
I also think, I mean, you're a younger guy. I think that people want to go viral real bad in our society now, right? And so maybe these pilots think, hey, this is my chance. I'll meow at air traffic control and we'll be a viral video.
Such a strange way to go viral, though.
It is. It is. Do you think there's a desperation, though, for a lot of people just to be viral?
Especially nowadays, it's most definitely desperation nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's trying to go viral. Everybody want to be famous. Everybody want to be known to be that guy who meowed on the controller.
That's a weird thing for you to say, because you and I don't seem like people that want to be that guy.
Nah.
But somebody out there wants to be that guy who meowed his way to fame.
Yep.
One last one. I saw this, and I thought this was interesting. Scientists might find a way to make French fries healthier. I think these scientists, I don't know where they're out of, but I'll be honest with you, this is absolutely wrong. Oh, University of Illinois, who did this research. This profoundly misunderstands the value of a French fry. I don't want it to be healthier. I want it to be as unhealthy as possible, because if I'm having French fries, I have disregarded my health for this meal. I want crappy food to remain crappy, and I want healthy food to stay in its lane of health. I don't want them to commingle, man. I don't like that. If I get a Snickers, I want to know that I'm eating a Snickers. I don't want a healthier version of the same thing. What do you think of that?
I don't want a vegan Snicker.
No, I don't want any of that.
French fries.
Absolutely
want my
not.
French fries to be French fries, and I want my candy bars to be candy bars.
I
agree.
I want freedom fries, baby. I want the thing to be absolutely what it's supposed to be, cooked in terrible oil, and then fed to me in a way that, I should not be eating them every single day. Yes. Okay. Absolutely great. Cool. Anything else you want to say about that or no?
I feel as though, they should just keep it how it is. I mean, it's made for a reason, and the taste is there for a reason. I don't think you should even try to change something like that. Unless you're trying to make, sweet potato fries. That's different. But if you're trying to, change up French fries, it's French fries for a reason.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well,
just
and
let it be enjoyed.
The last thing about this that I always think about, my wife is the cook in the house, not me. I don't cook anything. I grill occasionally, but that's pretty much all I'll do. And if she tries to sneak in a healthy thing, and I notice it's not as fun, there's a complaint that goes there. And I don't want to complain to the missus. She made the delicious meal. But if I notice that there's something there, it's funny. She used to do this during COVID, actually, when we were all locked down places. And I was living in a terrible place in Illinois. She would make these morning shakes and put healthy crap in them every day. And then every day hand them to me, be like, you got to drink the shake. And it was a miserable start to my day every single day, man.
Would you, taste it while you were drinking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And all kinds of stuff was in there, man. And then if she snuck something by me, she'd be so proud of it. She'd be like, that one had the stuff in it you said you didn't like.
Would you say it after?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a whole game. And I was like, I don't know why this is happening. I would much rather prefer to just have an unhealthy or a healthy thing and believe that what I'm having is, I don't want to be tricked, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's probably the only reason she think you're going to actually drink it. Cause
I know.
She tell you it's not going.
I know. But I'm not a child. I'll do it. I'll do it the other way. You just got to tell me. But no, she'd be so happy. She's like, yeah, there was a bunch of vegetables and stuff in there that you didn't notice. And I was like, I noticed. I didn't tell you.
She was looking out, man. She just
I know.
She's looking out.
I know.
The best.
She's a lovely human being. I know. My wife is a lovely, amazing person, and I complain about her trying to keep me alive and healthy. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense. All right. Thank you, buddy. That was great. We'll get back to one other serious topic, and then we'll try to get out of here today. There's a piece of audio of Bill Maher that I don't think I can play because it's just a lot of very bad words, and I'm pretty sure that didn't clean up all those words. But the thing that's interesting about it is he's basically defending himself for having certain friendships. So he was on a podcast, and I'll just explain to you what happened. Someone said, why are you friends with Kid Rock, still? Kid Rock is now, of course, connected to conservative parties, conservative ideals. And Bill Maher went on a tirade saying that I can be friends with whoever the bleep I want, and how dare you tell me that I can't be friends with this person. And it reminded me of something. I remember when Jon Stewart went on Stephen Colbert's show and said that he thought the coronavirus came out of the COVID lab, the Wuhan Chinese lab, and everybody was up in arms because Democrats weren't saying that. They weren't admitting that. And then there was a bunch of audio of Jon Stewart, of all people, beloved by the left, a hardcore supporter of a lot of the ideals that exist within Democratic parties, saying how vitriolic the response was from his own supporters, how many people were upset with him and mad at him, and death threat versions of calls to him because he said something on a television show that they didn't expect. And it's so interesting. I'll say it this way, and I think Bill Maher is sort of reacting to it in the audio where he's defending his friendship with Chris Rock. You can overreach. We all know this. Society can. The demands of the left specifically can be so insane, so far out there that occasionally you can't participate. When they say that men can play women's sports, there's a lot of people who would consider themselves left-leaning that would say that makes no sense, especially in a place like Texas, like here, have a conversation like that. And so I just think it's so amazing that you can curate this experience in life, this version of information that is so aligned with your beliefs, so far from anything that you disagree with whatsoever. And if one of your own steps out for even a moment against you for something that they think that you don't believe, the amount of people, especially on the left, who react to that so poorly is just insane. I think Bill Maher is also defending his love of Clint Eastwood, another guy that he said he really respected and really liked, and who gave a crap if Clint Eastwood was a conservative, if you like the movies that he did and the actor that is Clint Eastwood, that was Clint Eastwood. Like, this stuff is just, it's crazy to me. There are people who would have that kind of discussion, have that kind of, a debate. I don't know why I killed off Clint Eastwood for a second, though, by the way. He's still alive. But nonetheless, people who act like you no longer get to play by your own set of rules. The rules you play for have to be by the rules of how we create it, how we dictate it in society. You no longer get to choose even who your friends are, and that's obviously insane. All right, let's play another piece of audio, since I can't play the Bill Maher thing. This is the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. He is talking about dispatching a delegation to negotiate with Cuba in Havana, as Trump has declared the island is entering a, quote, new dawn. People aren't paying attention, but there are a myriad of things that have either happened or are capable of happening that benefit the United States in such a profound way, especially when you think about the way that our not so friendly enemies out there, the Chinas and the Russias of the world, have abused their control over some of these places that are in our waters, that are in our hemisphere, places like Iran, places like Venezuela, and places like Cuba, having an opportunity to reshape the relationship we have with these places and reshape how they eventually then interact with other countries in the world, tremendously important to the future of the United States of America, and heavily disregarded by a whole lot of media out there. Here's Rubio talking about it.
Department confirmed Secretary Marco Rubio dispatched a delegation of senior officials to negotiate in Havana. Last week, a U.S. government plane landed on the island nation's soil for the first time since 2016. As the U.S. fuel blockade worsens an already dire humanitarian crisis for Cuba's people, U.S. officials believe there is an opening to push communist leaders out. Quote, President Trump is committed to pursuing a diplomatic solution if possible, but will not let the island collapse into a major national security threat if Cuba's leaders are unwilling or unable to act. President Trump is reportedly considering a range of options, from U.S. military intervention to U.S.-led regime change.
All right, now I want to play that. Well, actually, let's go ahead and play
You hear that Cuba is next.
Even Cuba's president, wary of U.S. threats, says at this point diplomacy and dialogue with the Trump administration would be, quote, difficult, given the changing nature of American foreign policy.
So what's really interesting about that, too, is as Cuba gets worse and worse, as the lead-in to that story goes, and actually they were quoting Marco Rubio. You didn't actually hear Rubio say those words. But nonetheless, as they're leading into the topic, they're saying how things are getting dire in a place where the politicians don't care about their people. And America, the United States, wants to intervene in a way that Democrats would normally support. They'd yell from the rafters how great it is, the success of the humanitarian aspects of the United States. And this is something that a lot of conservatives would actually say not to do. Don't waste resources, don't waste time, focus on the United States, don't pay attention elsewhere. So it's really interesting that this is getting ignored by a lot of media. This is the type of topic that's not a discussion, and that the actual benefit to it, the influence we have, the way that you, essentially get yourselves in on the ground floor with the citizens of a place. The best example I can give to this is if you ask someone from Venezuela what they think of the decision to remove the dictator that was in charge there overnight as the United States of America, to get Maduro out, most people in Venezuela loved it. When you talk to people that are of Iranian descent living in this country, and you ask them about the war against the Iranian government that massacres, tons and tons of people on a daily basis in that country, they love it. They're thrilled to see it. This is another version of the same thing. This is a version of caring about the people who are actually at the ground level, the human beings who are, dealing with whatever the challenge is in life and doing something that benefits them. And yes, of course, it also benefits us. If we wind up in control of certain things in Iran, as far as oil is concerned, yes, that benefits us. But that doesn't have to be the entirety of the thing you talk about as far as the value of doing something. And that's where I think so often, I guess the right way to say it is nuance is either impossible or completely ignored by mainstream media because they think you're too stupid to appreciate it. You're too stupid to hear why this is being done for this reason and why on the surface you might not like this, but if you think about it a little deeper, you might. Or they just don't ever want you to be more educated on these topics. They want it to be overly simplistic. They want you to be confused by the value of something because they want you to keep accepting whatever their narrative is of whatever the story is they're talking about. Whatever the thing is that they're saying to you, they want you to keep spoon-feeding that to yourself and never, ever question anything. So it's just sort of amazing. But that report, as I said, which came from Fox News, highlighting a move by the Trump administration that by and large, if Democrats were doing it, Democrats would celebrate it. And so regardless of what you think of it, to be honest, regardless of if you think personally that it's a bad idea, a good idea, America First is not being served well in our, looking to other places and thinking about humanitarian aspects of how this country or that country is going, I'm fine with any of those objections. Throw them at me, whatever, we can talk about them. What I think is amazing, and what I think I'll keep highlighting on the show, is when media is silent on something that they normally love. Because to me, a part of it, however big or however small of it is, it's almost like it's a test. Like President Trump says, all right, let's do this thing that almost feels democratic in nature, almost feels like the exact opposite of the ideals we have, just to see how media responds to it. There's still an avenue to where I could make the argument it benefits us, as I said a second ago, getting more control over the way that other countries use places like Cuba is good for the United States of America. It's good for an America First policy, but that's irrelevant to the sort of test that you put out there in the world when you say to yourself, well, let's see if people actually hate this just because it's Trump, even if they're kind of supposed to like it. If it seems like the kind of thing that they'd normally be kind of happy with, they're just not happy with it here. All right, that's it. That's the whole show. Thrilled to be with you as always. Great job to producer Phil on his first day here at the station. But we'll get out of here. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow. It's the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball and AM 1540 KGBC Galveston.
Caller from Town Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington.